There was a hell of a show last night.
Oh my gosh, yes, I loved it.
Oh man. I thought we were going to be able to squeeze everything in an hour show.
Yeah,
That
I
wasn't
don't
going
think
to.
so. No, to be honest with you, I see at least maybe two, maybe three parts. At least when we find out a lot more.
I think we end up doing an hour. God, we were on the air last night for an hour and 15 minutes.
I think we'll
I
probably have
think
another hour.
we got at least, yeah, I think we have
Hmm.
another hour, at
Hmm.
least another hour.
Yeah.
We could spend, Amelia, think about this.
Hmm.
Talking about Bob Saget, we could talk at least another hour just on the medical examiner.
Oh yes,
How
absolutely.
bad a fuck up that was. Look at this. I'm not even on the air yet, and I'm using the F bomb, right?
Right.
Look at this shit.
And I think too, maybe a 30 minutes to 40 minutes in just the room itself, just the bathroom, the
Yeah,
way
the
everything
room
was.
itself.
Hmm.
Please, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother ball game. That
That
room,
is. Hmm.
because something doesn't. It's not. Something doesn't sound right.
No.
It's not. It's not jiving,
No.
like my dad would say.
Yeah.
It's not jiving.
Hmm.
My father used to love that jive.
And
It's
then
not
too,
jiving.
yeah, especially with the
It
adjoining
no, it's
room.
just it's
Hmm.
not
No,
adding up, man.
it's
Something
not. Too many questions still left unanswered to me, and I thought, you know
a
what,
lot.
Angela would love that subject with Bob Saget's death. I
There's
said
a lot of oh man, you don't
too
even
many,
know. Let me hold on, folks. I got to fix my microphone.
and
Look at
that's.
this. 5 minutes into the show, and I'm already fixing with my microphone.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
too that there's a lot more deaths that we could cover later on that we're going to be bringing to people, but this
well,
one was the
yeah.
main
Tell
one.
everybody what we're gonna do. I mean, we got a couple of minutes before we go on here.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Anne Heche. Her death is one of them.
And Hayes, yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Michael Jackson again, of course, Elvis Presley. We're
Elvis
going to be
again, yeah.
Marilyn Monroe is another one, and
Another one. That
uh,
Maryland is another case that won't go away.
Tupac. There's another
That's
mystery.
another one. Wait a minute. Here we go.
Mhm.
Have you heard the latest?
No, I have not. Um,
Okay, let me tell you what's going on. You know who Suge Knight is, right?
yes, his
Okay,
manager.
Suge Knight, big guy, record
Hmm.
promoter,
Yes.
gangster, all that shit.
Hmm.
Suge Knight, who was with Tupac that night, who was
Hmm.
with him, he
Right.
was driving the car. Tupac, I mean, Suge says
Hmm.
that maybe Tupac didn't die.
Hmm.
Now, this is the guy that was driving him, okay? And he's saying maybe he didn't die. What are you trying to set here?
Right.
What are you trying to say here?
Exactly.
Are you trying to set up an alibi or an excuse?
Hmm.
Was it a lookalike? Because some people think it was a lookalike that got killed.
Yeah. And a lot of times that happens. They will bring a lookalike to your shows. And see, that's another thing. He was with his guy that he represents. Bob Saget, again, was not. It didn't have anybody with him. And that is
Well, that's
another.
another thing. Who goes on the road? And I've been in show business a long time.
Mm-mm. Hmm.
And I've never heard of anybody going on a gig without your manager
Right.
or
That's
your
another.
agent. Somebody that represents you is going to be
Hmm.
there.
Exactly.
You're going to tell me he went there by himself? I don't buy it.
No.
I don't buy it.
And that's what the reports are saying. And that's another big question mark to me.
Yeah.
Why would they say that? Why would he do that? Nobody would do that.
Well, I think we got a little heads up last night from our friend Moonchild.
Hmm.
We got a very good friend here on the show named Moonchild.
Hmm.
And we're not going to identify. I know who she is. I found out
Hmm.
who she is.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to identify her
No,
real name.
we're not going to
I'm
identify
just
any
going to
sources.
call her Moonchild. Well, Moonchild gave us a scoop last night.
She sure
In
did.
fact, it was so good, we did the breaking news header
Hmm.
in the show.
Yes.
And I said, this is too good to waste. I'm not wasting this
No.
one.
Mm-mm.
So, and I used it, and I thought, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. His wife
Yes.
said to him, be careful.
Careful. Mm-hmm.
Yep. She said, be careful, watch out.
Mm-hmm.
What was she saying, watch out for?
Yeah. And why would you say that right directly to him going on a trip? But and
And
thinking,
what celebrity, Amelia, please
huh?
listen to me. You're an intelligent woman.
Hmm.
What celebrity goes on the road by themselves?
Not one that I know of. You're going to bring
No.
somebody with you.
Nope. They exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. None of them go on
No,
the road by themselves.
no. You're going to bring somebody with you. You're not going to, especially you're
Yeah.
not going to want to be by yourself, travel
Look at
alone.
this. It's 1 minute after 7. You know what
Uh-huh.
that means?
Yes, it's
That
time to
means
go.
that we've been on the air for at least 3 minutes and we haven't run the credits yet.
Oh, we're jibber
I'll
jabbing.
see you on the other side. It's Tuesday night, Amelia Pitbull Chapman. And what does that mean?
It's Blunt Talk Radio night.
Absolutely. It's 4 p.m. in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago. It's 2:30 Wednesday afternoon in Sri Lanka. And it's 7 p.m. in New York City. Hello, folks. Mad Dog DeCipio, joined by the mouth of the South, Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. I don't care what Jimmy Hart says. Fuck you, Jimmy Hart. We got our own mouth of the South. And her name's Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. How you doing, kid?
Good. I'm glad to be off work, I tell you.
Good for you. Good for you. How'd your job go today?
It was
Did you
into
curse anybody?
no, they cursed me out today, actually.
Yeah. Amelia works. You gotta give it to Amelia. Amelia works in God bless you. She works in the customer service department of a very large medical professional organization. I'm not going to say the name of it, but because I know the name of it, but I'm not going to say it. But she works with making appointments for doctors and specialists and things like that. Well, once in a while, Amelia gets a really interesting phone call, like the one she had this morning. Now, you guys know that if you have medical insurance, you go to your doctor, you pay your copay, and no problem, right?
Mhm.
But once in a while, Amelia gets a crazy that thinks they're going to make an appointment with no insurance. There's a place for that. It's called the hospital. Go to the hospital and tell them you have no insurance and file for charity care. I'm telling people this as a public service announcement because the law nationwide, not just in Florida, the law nationwide is they cannot turn you down for charity care. They cannot. Regardless of your ability to pay, they have to treat you under the law. That's that. So, Amelia,
Mhm.
I gave you some free advice over here, kid.
Yes.
The next time somebody calls and thinks they're going to get a doctor's appointment from you,
Mhm.
tell them to go to hospital and file for charity care.
Right? And to bill you, huh?
Bill me. Yeah, Bill Angelo. Why not?
Yep. Right.
Everybody else is why the hell not? This is the What's the Buzz Podcast Network. Tonight, Blunt Talk Radio. Now, we have to say this. Our public service announcement to everyone listening, be a buddy, not a bully.
Right.
Too much bullying going on. It's going to tie into our show tonight in a very big way. Why? Because tonight's show, the runaway epidemic. Yep, it's back on the rise again, folks. People are running away from home. And not just kids. Sadly, not just kids, young adults, even parents. Even
Very
parents
sad.
are getting fed up of being parents and they're leaving.
Mhm.
You know, people in their 30s and 40s that are trying to recapture the
Mhm.
lost youth of their 20s.
Yes.
You know, that's what happens though when you get married right out of high school. You haven't had a chance to live.
Or not even high
You know,
school. They're teenage parents, moms.
yeah. The
They're.
kid. Good point.
Mhm.
Good point. The kids getting pregnant. The girls getting pregnant in high school,
Yes.
and young men that are strapped down with young women that have to
Mhm.
be mommies and daddies.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot to take in.
Very much to take in, and they're like, "Oh my
It
gosh, this is
really is
my
a
life
lot.
now." Mhm.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about all that tonight. We have a very sobering show. This show's going to run a little long tonight. We have a feeling. If it
Mhm.
does, we will do a part two
Mhm.
because we've got enough material, Amelia and I, on Runaways to do probably 2 or 3 shows, just like Bob Saget,
Yes.
our show from last night. By the way,
Mhm.
we got a hell of a response on that show. A hell of a response.
Yeah.
Um, Particularly from our listeners in Florida.
Mhm.
Some people were actually there at the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that wasn't all that far from where you are right now.
No, it wasn't, not very far, and we
A
were
couple hours
wanting to go.
away, right?
Yeah, and we were probably wanting to go to the show in if he was going to come this way, just to see how he was as a comedian because I'd never seen him as a comedian, just as a TV dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you're younger.
Mhm.
Bob Saget, when he started out, and I guess he was a young guy. He was like 19, 20 years old.
Mhm. Yeah.
I got to see him when he was a comedian. He was
Mhm.
funny.
Yeah.
You know, he was at his best though
Mhm.
at like 24, 25, 26,
Mhm.
right before Hollywood came knocking on the door.
Right.
And he went into television and
Mhm.
did some movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Because I think he did a couple, 3 or 4 movies. He did a bunch of television,
Mhm.
and that just blew his career like right through the roof.
Oh yeah. He said that it
You
was hard
know,
for him to get back into doing the F bombs and all these other.
yeah,
And people were like looking at him like, "What? Danny
it
Tanner's doing
was
that?"
years, Amelia. It was
Mhm.
years before he went back into comedy.
Mhm.
Years. I don't think he got back into comedy. Let's see, he died in January of 23 this year.
Mhm.
He was just getting back into it again
Mhm.
in the middle of 22,
Yes.
around March, April of 22, early to mid 2022.
Mhm.
I know he didn't do anything in 2020 with the pandemic or
Yeah.
in 2021.
Mhm.
And I know that because the clubs were all closed.
Yeah.
But even in Las Vegas, well, you heard what Steve McCoy said,
Yeah.
our Tom Jones friend in Las
Yeah.
Vegas.
Mhm.
Nobody was working in Las Vegas.
And
The
nobody was.
showrooms were empty.
Yeah, everything was empty. It was like a desert
Showroom
itself.
restaurants were empty. The clubs were empty.
Mhm.
The Las Vegas Hard Rock was empty.
Yeah.
Bob Saget played the Hard Rock in Orlando.
Mhm.
That's a big room. That's a 2,000 seat room.
It is a very big room.
It's
Even
a
the
very
one.
big room.
Yeah.
Huge room.
Mhm.
Oh my God! Please look, they got rock bands to play there.
Yeah, even the one
You
that
know?
where I live, or the one that's close by where I live at, it's huge here. They have big people that play here too.
Yeah, absolutely. Of
Mhm.
course. So let's talk about tonight.
Yes.
Let's talk about why people run away. What does your research tell you, Amelia, about why, especially these days, why people are running away?
They can't handle being at home due to abusive parents, alcoholic parents, or their situations could be at school, being bullied at school, being harassed at school, being harassed by someone, or it could be being harassed like at work, or they can't
Yeah.
handle a certain
There's a
situation.
lot of peer pressure, is
It
what
is
she's saying.
very.
That's what Amelia's telling you, folks.
Mhm.
And a lot of this stuff is coming from peer pressure A lot of this is coming from dysfunctional parents,
Yes.
kids that don't want to deal with their parents.
Mm-mm.
Let's be honest about it. Who wants to deal with an alcoholic parent?
No.
Who wants to deal with a drug abusing parent?
Mm-hmm.
Before we even get deep into this, you are going to see a number on our screen tonight. And those of you listening on radio,
Mm-hmm.
it's the National Runaway Hotline. And I want everyone within sound of my voice, if you're within reach of a pen, please write this number down. It's the National Runaway Hotline. 1-800-RUNAWAY. 1-800-RUNAWAY. And let me spell out the numbers for you. It's 800-800-786-2929. And if you have a phone where you can't make calls, no problem. You can text them for help. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to TXT the number 4 and the word help. HELP. It's just as it says, text for help.
Mm-hmm.
TXT for HELP. Text that number. Text that code.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, you'll have a response within 30 seconds.
Yes.
I promise you that. Now, let me give you some sobering statistics. The National Runaway Safe Line reports that between 1.6, this just blows my mind, Amelia,
Yeah.
between 1.6 million and 2.8 million people run away each year.
Yeah.
Now, what are we talking when we say runaway? We're talking about anywhere from the age of 14 up to 30,
Yes.
and in some cases older,
Yes.
okay? But we're talking about 14 to around 35.
Yes.
And as I said, in some cases older. And you're shaking your head going, how much older? You know, the runaways are kids, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, Amelia, tell them what's going on here these days.
It's a lot of them are adults, like he was saying, because you're 18 years old, 16 years old, you're having to get married, or not even get married. You're raising a young child. You're graduating, or not even graduating. You're dropping out, getting a job.
It's exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just kids. They're young adults. They're parents.
Yes.
Listen to me, folks. Mm-hmm. Parents are running away from home. Amelia, please tell me if I'm making this.
No, you're telling the truth.
Folks, yeah, and you hear me say this all the time. I'm smiling because I know where I'm going. I'm smiling because I'm going to tell you what I say every week. If you don't believe Amelia and I, especially if you don't believe me, because everybody thinks I'm full of shit anyway, go online. I promise you, Google it.
Mm-hmm.
Google it. Runaway parents are a huge, huge part of the runaway problem. Okay. What constitutes a runaway? Well, a person is considered to be a runaway when he or she is 14 or under, mentally disabled, or they leave home without consent, or that person is 15 or older and is away from home for more than 2 nights and chooses not to return. The question is asked, Amelia, how common is it for kids to run away? Well, that's a tricky question. You and I are going to have that discussion in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
How common is it for kids to run away? Some kids simply disappear, and they live on the streets until they end up in shelters, like the Salvation Army, the Goodwill. Yes, the Goodwill, folks, has shelters.
Yes.
They're not just a place where you buy used clothes. The Goodwill does have shelters. the Salvation Army, the Poly Class Foundation, Safe Line America. Let's see.
Yeah, Safe Place also.
Safe Place, yeah, safeplace.org.
Mm-hmm.
They have shelters all over the United States. Your town, the town that you live in right now,
yes,
has a shelter. The town that I live in here in New Jersey has 2 shelters. 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very big shelters.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of people here.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a big city or a small town, Amelia happens to live in a pretty large area.
Yes.
Okay? And so what do you got? Like 1 or 2 shelters there too? Maybe 2 or 3?
Yeah, you can also text the word safe and then a location where you're at. It'll let you know a lot of places.
Absolutely. And Amelia's going to give you that phone number too in a little bit. About 1/5, this is also a staggering number. About 1/5 of runaways, about 1/5 of runaways return within 24 hours, which is a good number. About 1/5 of them. After 1 week, about 3/4 of them return home or they return to some care facility, which is good. At least you know they're being taken care of.
Yes.
Now, here's the sobering part. Less than 1%, which is also a very big number. Think about this, Amelia. You're talking about upwards as many as 2.8 million runaways. 1% of that is a lot of people. A lot. That's several 100,000 people.
It is a lot.
That run away and never return. And they live on the street. And you find them dead on the street. Or they live underneath the overpass. I'm going to speak to a guy tomorrow. He'll be on the show next week. His name, I'm just going to call him Frank from Houston. Frank found some of the people that he's taken care of. He found them underneath highway overpasses. He found them in shelters. He found them wandering the streets. This guy is like a walking miracle worker. The world needs more Franks from Houston.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? Amelia, why don't you take this one?
Runaways and homeless youth are more likely to engage in substance use and diligent behavior and have increased risk of being sexually exploited and trafficked.
You hear what she said? Did you hear what she said? Runaway and homeless youth are more likely to engage in drug abuse, substance abuse, and delinquent behavior. In other words, what's delinquent behavior? Stealing. Stealing stuff from the store. Stealing a car.
To get your drugs.
To do their drugs. Beating people up for their money to buy drugs. Okay? Engaging in, explicit behavior, the dangerous behavior. Sexually explicit behavior that gets them in trouble, that gets them exploited, that gets them sex trafficked, that gets them used by perverts who will pay money to a pimp. Look, folks, there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. We had a disclaimer at the beginning of the show. We're going to warn people. I'm telling you, this is not for the faint of heart.
It's not.
There are pimps out there prostituting young kids as young as 14, 15, 16 years old. Prostituting them for money. Yes. Okay, so you know what the pimp is going to do? He's going to look like a hero. Why? Why, Amelia? Because he's going to give you a place to stay.
And
he's going to put some food in your stomach.
And clothes. He's going to give you
clothes. And he's going to put a couple of bucks in your pocket. He's not going to give you what he's making.
No.
If he gets $100 for a sexual favor from you, You might end up with $20 in your pocket, but you're thrilled to have $20 in your pocket.
Yeah, you're lucky. I was gonna say 5 because you.
He's going to keep the 80 for himself, isn't he?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Current studies suggest that the primary cause of youth homelessness is family dysfunction, like Amelia said earlier in the show, in the form of parental neglect, physical and or sexual abuse, family substance use disorder, in other words, a family member that's an alcoholic, a drug user, a pedophile, a sexual delinquent, a registered sex offender.
Yes.
And the other thing that keeps kids away from home is family violence. How many times have you gone to see a kid in school with a black eye? Oh, I got into a fight, and you found out, no, he didn't.
No.
His father hit him. I went to school with somebody like that, and let me tell you something. I went to a very wealthy high school. I went to a very, very wealthy high school. We had, and I'm not even lying because my wife works for the guy. We had a senator's child. In fact, not more than, we had a couple of them. I had senators' kids in my school and in my class. Because my wife works for him today. Okay? I'm not going to tell you his name. But his father was a senator. We had lawyers. We had a judge's son in my high school. But they still came in school with black eyes, you know, wouldn't talk, wouldn't sit in the back of the class. You want to know what was wrong with Joe today? What's wrong with John today? What's wrong with Billy today? His father beat the shit out of him. Because why? Because there's a need to be perfect.
Yeah.
And if you're not perfect, if you're a judge's son or a senator's son, if you're not perfect, you know what happens? You get a foot up your ass.
Yeah.
And maybe an eye to the, a fist to the eye.
Yeah.
But
Or
that's
like,
what happens.
or like you didn't fold the clothes the right way, or you didn't do something the right way. Then
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, now, here's the thing. And what Amelia was just talking about, too. Nearly half, think about this, 50%, almost 50% of runaway youth report that at least one of their parents struggles with alcohol, drugs, again, what I mentioned previously, sexual addiction, perversion, degeneracy, all of these, look, all of this stuff adds up.
It adds up every single
It
just like step. Like
adds
if coming
up.
up,
You don't
step.
have, we're painting a picture for you. We're painting a picture for you folks. And we're doing this for a reason. Is it a pretty picture? No.
No.
But I don't want it to be a pretty picture. I want this to wake you up. Let me put this number on our screen. This is the National Runaway Hotline, or we're calling it the National Runaway Safe Line. Why is it called the Safe Line? Because now, thankfully, the government now has given these organizations money to help get these kids off the street. Okay. The National Runaway Hotline is 1-800-RUNAWAY. Again, 1-800-RUNAWAY. It's 800-786-2929. 800-786-2929. Or text for help. And I want you to write that down. Literally, TXT, the number 4, HELP. TXT 4, the number 4, HELP. Text for help. I promise you in 30 seconds or less, you'll have a response with instructions on how to get to the nearest shelter.
Yes.
And get some food in your stomach. And get some clothes on your back. and maybe get reunited with your parents. We got someone in the chat. Who's in my chat with me?
I'm not really sure, but
Facebook users, some parents do not care what their kids do. You're absolutely right, and that's why we're doing this show tonight. You are absolutely right. Whoever the Facebook user is, and I'm sorry, but I don't have your name here. It just says Facebook user. Some parents, they're absolutely right, Amelia. Some parents just don't give a shit.
yeah, well, that's
And you know what?
That's not good parenting then to me. I'm sorry.
If parents don't give a shit, guess what? This is why they run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I care what my kids do. I mean, that's being a parent. I watch my kids every second, but sometimes you can't watch your kids every second, and then you get suspicious when your 13 or so daughter goes, "Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to bed," and then you're like, okay. And then she ends up with a friend that's kind of like very loose, and her parents don't give a crap or shit what her.
You know what happens to a girl like that, Amelia?
Yeah, that happened to my daughter.
I'm going to tell you. Oh, I know what your daughter did.
Mm-hmm.
I know she did. I heard the story.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what happens here, and I want to tell everybody what happens. It's not just Amelia's daughter. I went through it myself. Let me tell you what this kid did.
Mm-hmm.
Not but my many years ago, many years ago. So she pulls that. Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, red flag number one.
Mm-hmm.
At 8 o'clock, a kid is not going to say, I'm going to go to bed.
No.
Because at 8 o'clock, a 14-year-old girl she's just getting started, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to bed till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Because I know teenagers, and I know how they think. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what this kid did. She goes, oh, I'm going to bed. I'm so tired, I'm going to bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
She goes in. About 9 o'clock, her mother and I walked in the door. We saw the bed look like there was a body under there. And she does this little fucker.
Mm-hmm.
She balled up a blanket. Underneath the blanket, she balled up another blanket. And she shoved pillows under there to make it look like there was a person laying down. She climbed out the friggin' window.
Yeah.
And went out with her friends. Okay? Well, I stayed up until she got home.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what I did? I locked the window. The window that she climbed out of, I locked it. So she had
come inside.
She had no choice. She had to come in the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess who's sitting there waiting for her?
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. Absolutely.
Yep.
Papa Bear sitting there waiting for her with a cup of coffee, a nice warm chair next to me. I said, have a seat. Let's have a little talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That kid was grounded till she was 30.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Let me tell you something. All right, let's see. Oh, it's my brother-in-law.
Ah.
Hey, how you doing there, brother? Beautiful. That's my brother-in-law.
Well, mine decided to go with a little wild friend because my daughter had never done stuff like this, but she decided to wear a bikini top, which we didn't know, and jeans. And then her friend's like, well, go to the high school because it's just a walk away. And it was real dark at night. So I was like, okay. But my daughter had her phone at the time. And all of a sudden, I was like, okay, don't you find that strange, Jeff, that she's like wanting to go to bed?
This is the kind of shit they pull, don't they?
Yeah. So we went in there and we're like, oh my God. So we called her phone. She wouldn't answer. We called her phone. She wouldn't answer. We're like frantic calling her phone, and we called her friend. It's like, well, her name is Tangi, okay? Is Tangi there? She goes, no, yeah, she's there. Go check on her, please. The mom goes, oh, no, she's not there. Okay, she's not there. So we're frantically calling about 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, 1 o'clock. My daughter's calling, Mom, we don't know where we're at. We're scared. So we're like driving everywhere, finding them. Finally, we find out. We look at my daughter and find out that they went to go meet these boys. And they're like, oh, do you want to make out? Do you have, my daughter's like only 13 years old. We find these boys. We tell the parents, you know, my daughter right here, the one that your son wanted to make out with is only 13. Yeah. Your son's 18. I can file charges. He said, oh, the wife's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And the daughter,
you reminded me of just now, guys. I'm smiling because I'm laughing. I'm in my head. I got this vision of, I'm busting out laughing in my head. What the story you just told me reminded me of a movie I saw years ago called Adventures in Babysitting.
Probably.
I
Never
just,
know.
I just had that vision of like going on a wild goose chase,
We did.
chasing down kids.
We did.
And
And
I knew that's where you were going with it.
and
I
then
want to give this number again, though,
yeah.
because I want to get,
Hmm.
before we go too far off the tangent,
Hmm.
I want to give this number again. It's 1-800-RUNAWAY, the National Runaway Helpline. It's also called the National Runaway Safe Line. It's
Yeah.
800-RUNAWAY, 800-786-2929, TXT, the number 4, HELP, text for help, TXT, the number 4, HELP. A staggering number. The National Runaway Safe Line reports. Again, you're gonna hear me say this 3 or 4 times throughout tonight. The National Runaway Safe Line reports that between 1.6 million and 2.8 million people run away each year.
Yeah.
Most of them between the ages of 14 and 30.
Hmm.
You say to yourself, really, 30-year-old people are running away? Yeah, and in some cases older.
Yes.
We have cases here
Hmm.
of grown adult parents and grandparents running away from home.
Yes, because they're getting
And
abused.
here's
The
the
grandparents.
thing. You were just about to bring it up. I'm going to follow right in with you.
Hmm.
Because here's the thing that's scary.
Hmm.
And I want people to listen very, very carefully. The older the runaway is, the likelihood of finding them is slim to none.
Yes.
The older they are, the harder they are to find. Here's why. Because they're adults that blend in with society.
Hmm.
They become invisible.
Yes.
And it's just the way it is. Especially with someone in their 40s, 50s, or older.
Right. Hmm.
They become like a part of the fabric. You could you could literally walk past a runaway on the street and never know it.
Yeah. Because I mean, we could see them looking through a garbage thing to try to find something to sell to somebody, and there could be a runaway that we didn't even know they were runaway. And
I want to tell everybody, I want to follow right into that. Let me tell everybody, if you know someone who has run away and are still gone, I want you to call this number, please. It's the National Runaway Hotline, 1-800-786-2929, or simply dial 800-RUNAWAY. That number is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can also text for help. TXT, the number 4, HELP. Now, we also have another number I'm going to give you. This is Pastor Steve Kwiatkowski. Pastor Kwiatkowski is a member of our show. He's also a member of my family.
yes.
Pastor Steve can be reached, and he's got his phone with him. He sleeps with his phone,
Yes.
and I'm not even kidding you. Pastor Stephen Kwiatkowski, 856-896-5332. If you are in need of spiritual guidance, if you need to talk to somebody that will not judge you, if you need to speak to somebody who will reach out for you to get a hold of your parents, Pastor Steve Kwiatkowski, 856-896-5332. He is one of the nicest, godliest men you'll ever meet in your life. I promise you my hand to God.
Yes.
Okay? He's a wonderful, wonderful man, and he is the guy that married my wife and I. We've been together, married now for, oh God, 10 years. Nina and I have been together 10 years. She
Mm-hmm.
put up with me for 10 years with me. Oh my God. She deserves. I just scared myself. I got to give my wife a medal. I do. I have
A
like
gold medal.
I gotta buy her something.
A beautiful gold necklace or something.
She don't like
Fine.
gold. She likes silver.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Something
she's
with
the
silver.
only woman I ever met that doesn't like gold. I said, really?
Get her something
I
that
said,
says
Nita.
infinity or something.
Yeah, I said, Nita, you're the only woman I ever knew in my life that didn't like gold. She likes silver.
Hmm.
And that, which is great for me because everything I wear is silver.
There you go.
Even my wedding ring is silver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like gold.
That's it.
I'm not like a gold person. I love silver.
Hmm.
Even the necklaces. I have a gold necklace. I never wear it. It's in my. You want to know where that's in my gun box? It's in my gun box. Yeah. So let
Yeah,
me
be
just tell
careful with
everybody.
that too. If you do have guns in the house and anything like that, please hide them away
Oh,
from
yes,
runaways too.
yes.
That's another thing too. Anything
That's
you have that's
yes.
gonna harm anyone, please
Yeah.
hide that if you have anything like
I
that
want
in your home.
everybody to listen to Amelia. It's really important. This is critical.
Yeah.
Critical. Keep all harmful items
Mhm.
away from at-risk youth. And when I say
Yes.
at-risk, emotional distress.
Mhm.
A child that's physically abusive, they are more apt to do damage
Yes.
than an adult in some cases.
Yes. And
And
a lot of
in some cases, they do much more damage
mhm. Yes.
than an adult can do
Because you can
because
tell
they
their
take
signs.
everybody out with them.
Yeah. And a lot of signs to look out for is the self-harming themselves by cutting.
Cutting, look for that. And wait a minute, let me stop you there, Amelia, because there's
Mhm.
something very important.
Okay.
Many years ago, a friend of mine came to me and said, my daughter's cutting herself,
Oh my goodness.
but I can't find the marks.
Mhm.
The girl, can't make this up, folks, the
Mhm.
girl was cutting herself in her vaginal area.
Mhm.
That's where she was cutting herself.
Mhm.
Can you imagine that? How painful that must have been?
Oh yeah.
That what? You're going to take a blade and you're going to cut yourself?
Mm.
And that's just,
Yeah.
I cringe when I think of it.
Well, a lot of
But
the
it's
time too.
absolutely true.
And when they do substance abuse, you don't know where they're doing it because there's no marks here. It's because they were doing it in between their toes too. So you got to look out for that as well.
You
So you got to
have
be
to
very,
watch
very
out
careful.
for needle marks, puncture marks,
Yes.
erratic behavior.
Yeah.
These are the telltale signs of somebody in trouble.
Hmm.
And you
And
need to understand. Now, hold on, because it's really important. You need
that's
to
very.
understand
Mhm.
that we are making a distinction
Mhm.
between runaways
Mhm.
and kids that are at risk.
Yes.
Now, please understand that we're going to help everybody we can help,
Mhm.
but you need to know what you're looking for.
Mhm.
Tonight, we're concentrating on runaways, but if you, again, as Amelia and I keep telling you, if you know someone who's in trouble, call this number. And I'm going to give you this number.
Mhm.
This is Pastor Stephen Kwarkowski, 856-896-5332, the National Runaway Hotline, 1-800-RUNAWAY, 1-800-RUNAWAY, 800-786-2929, or text for help.
Mhm.
Text for help. TXT, the number 4, HELP. Text
Mhm.
for help.
Even if you're a single parent and you're all the time with your kids and they're just crying, 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 don't think if you're going to run away. Just have somebody come help you. Call someone, like he was saying, come help
Ask for
you.
help.
Ask for
There
help.
are plenty of people out there who will help.
Yeah,
You
even if
got to
you,
understand something though,
yeah,
and it's important that we're telling you. First of all, we're not telling you what to do.
mm-mm.
We're suggesting to you
Yes,
alternatives to running away.
mm-hmm.
That's the first thing.
Yes,
But we're also telling you if you do run away,
mm-hmm.
there's help out there.
Yes,
And then if you look, I'll put it out there I'm going to put my number out there.
mm-hmm.
If you guys want to talk, 856-449-4513.
Mm-hmm.
Call me.
Yes.
Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. If you're an
Everybody,
adult,
look, my number's on the internet, so everybody knows my phone number.
if
Okay?
you're an adult, don't leave your children just to fend for themselves. Even if you just want to go somewhere for an hour, just even if you want to just go in your car and just go just scream, just like the
Ex-
beginning of the, just for
yeah.
an hour. So don't run
Speaking of
away.
screaming, hold on, Amelia. Speaking of screaming, our sponsors are going to scream if I don't do a commercial.
Oh, then
Hold
it's
on,
that
folks. We'll
time.
be right back after the other side of the break.
Do you have sweaty balls? Or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we.
There you go. How about that for
There you go.
okay? People have asked for the help. They certainly have.
Yeah.
I want to tell people, if you're here
Mm-hmm.
in the state of New Jersey, we have a very unique program here in New Jersey that's called Covenant House.
Mm-hmm.
They will not judge you. If you need a place to sleep, a place to stay, if you need some food, if you need to get back home, if you need bus fare, they will help you. I'm going to get this, I believe they have a number here. And I'm going to get this number up here for you. Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
tell everybody the number for the Runaway Hotline.
Yes. Also, again, it's the 1-800-786-2929. Also, you can text for help. Also, there's another way the parents can leave messages for their teens that can reach out to the service. Also, the teens also can check the information. They also can many times can reach out to 69866, an address, city, state of where they're
Yeah,
staying. And again, 69866. Many times teens will reach out to that service for help, and they can hear the messages that their parents have left them, so that
yeah,
way they know that they are being wanted and they're needed, and please
yeah,
come back home. And if a teen reaches out to you, or you know that they're going to be running away, just ask what's going on. Think about what they're telling you. I mean, really, really listen to what they're telling you. If you have something going on, stop what you're doing.
yeah,
Just sit there and really listen to them. Try and change their mind. Kind of find out why they're wanting to run away.
yeah.
Seek professional help. If you can't help them, have them see somebody else that's not a family member, of course. Try
Yeah,
and
of
change
course.
their mind, what's going on. Say, if you need a place to stay, here's my home, here's the couch, or I have
Okay.
extra room.
I think they get it. It's a really important, Amelia,
Hmm.
that I want people to understand. If you are in the
Hmm.
New York, New Jersey area,
Hmm.
if you are in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Delaware,
Hmm.
you can text 844
Hmm.
912 1291 for help. If you're in North New Jersey, near New York, you can call 973 621 8705. That number is for New York, for North Jersey, Northern New Jersey, which is all inclusive of everything up to New York City. That
Hmm.
number will work in New York as well. So if you need help, there's somebody there to help you. It's again 973-621-8705. If you're in South Jersey, where I am, Southern New Jersey, the number is 609-348-4070. Again, in South Jersey,
Hmm.
it's 609-348-4070. And if you know anyone, and this is really important, if you know anyone involved in human or sex trafficking,
Yes.
the number is very, very simple. 911. Anywhere in the United States, 911. Call immediately. Immediately. And say, as soon as you get on the phone, tell them human trafficking. If that's all you get out of your mouth, they've got enough to follow your phone call.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
got enough to trace you. Human trafficking, sex trafficking. Tell them you need help. Okay?
Oh, absolutely, because it's just everywhere.
Again,
And
now, the number 844-912-1291, Northern New Jersey and New York, the greater New York, Northern New Jersey area. 8705. And of course, Southern New Jersey, 609-348-4070. That number, that text number, is anywhere from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Delaware. 844-912-1291. Or simply TXT, the number 4, HELP. Text for help. Now, Amelia, what's coming up tomorrow? What's coming up next week?
you actually have a special show that you're doing tomorrow by yourself around noontime.
I'm doing a show all by myself tomorrow without Amelia.
Yeah.
She's going to be work busting her chops, and I'm going to be here talking to Debbie Greenberg.
Because of the time difference, actually, too. So
There's a
that's why.
5-hour time. Debbie Greenberg is the former owner of the Cavern Club. Yes, that Cavern Club where the Beatles began. And her father bought the Cavern Club when she was 20 years old. I was supposed to go up to northern New Jersey, actually. I was supposed to go up to Jersey City, New Jersey, last week. And I wasn't able to do it. The things happened down here that were hectic, to say the least. And so I had to postpone. Plus the weather was raining cats and dogs. It was just raining mud. And it was awful. So neither and I chose not to go.
Right? I don't blame you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay
I
away
hate
from the
driving.
rain.
I can't stand driving in the rain. I'd rather drive in the snow than the rain. So we didn't end up going. So I said to Debbie, when we get back to Liverpool, hit me up and we'll do the interview. This way we'll take our time. So tomorrow at 12 noon, we got a special live episode that we will rebroadcast tomorrow night. So lucky you get to see us 3 times this week.
Yay.
How about that crap? I mean, stuff.
I think it's a great thing. It's a fantastic
terrific.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, so let me see what else is going on. We got Debbie tomorrow, Debbie Greenberg.
And the 17th, we have celebrity time travel.
That's going to be a really interesting show. There and people wanted to know, like, why are you doing a show on celebrity time travel? Amelia and I came across some really interesting pictures.
Very interesting. I was like, wait a minute. That looks familiar.
Yeah, don't tip the hat, kid, because you're in a very talkative mood tonight.
That's all.
But I'm trying to button your lips so you don't throw the bit here.
No, because it was so funny because Jeff was telling me a story one time about when he ran away. He was 14 years old, living, I think, in Louisiana, and him and his friend came to
Your husband ran away from home?
14 years
Really?
old. Him and his friend from Pensacola, Florida. They ran here for a whole week, stayed at a friend's timeshare.
Oh my God! I can't imagine your husband Jeff running away from.
Yeah,
You got to understand, her husband Jeff is a nice guy, but he's like a big goof.
Yeah.
He's like 7 feet tall. He's like, he used to weigh a lot, but what's he down, about 250 now?
At 230 something. He's
230 something.
Yeah, he lost
He was
145 pounds already.
Yeah, he was close to 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a lot of. He looks like a whole different person.
Yeah, he lost a whole person.
You sure it's still your husband? It's like they didn't switch
I
out
think
with somebody,
so,
did you?
right?
That's
Maybe
because I'm
he's
going to
a
call him later and make sure.
right? And then that's what I was telling him. I said, "Is that you?" But yeah, it's a funny story. He'll have to
Yeah,
tell you
it's
one
him.
day when we do the show. But he's one of the good stories that came out of the runaway thing. But people, this is a very serious subject. But and then on the 18th, we're going to be doing a show. It's a little bit more because to me because I wanted to do this because I am so sick and tired of the government, and I am just like, well, let's see, this is going to be something that we've been wanting to do for a while, and I
So
was
tell
like,
everybody.
well, it's going to be doing, how President Trump has been just in the media, just leave him alone. He had been doing something before he was even
Oh,
president.
yeah.
This was when he was running for president, now while he was in the presidency. And then all this other, we have our rights and things like that, where we've lost our rights and a Bill of Rights, things like that. We're going to be doing
Sure.
something like that.
Well,
And
if you
so
leave
people,
it to the Democrats, they're going to burn the Bill of Rights, and they're going to. If you leave it to the Democrats, they're going to build a giant cage around the United States of America
well, they
to
pretty
keep.
much did, but
Pretty much,
yeah.
they're building detention centers like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's like
There,
our freedoms at stake, people, and I'm getting sick
yeah,
and tired of it.
there is there, and I'm not even making this up. Because I'll tell you, I'll show you where it is.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes from my house.
Mhm.
There's a place in New Jersey called Barrington, New Jersey.
Mhm.
There's a FEMA office in Barrington, New Jersey. Why?
Mhm.
Because it's connected to a FedEx plant in Barrington, New Jersey. Why is that important? Because the place is enormous, and there are 3 warehouses back there that have been converted into detention centers.
Interesting.
And they're
Hmm.
rounding up illegal immigrants is what they're doing.
Mm.
They haven't arrested any American citizens, but if you look like Spanish or you look like you don't belong,
Mhm.
they're pulling your ass off the street, out of your car, and they're locking you up until they can find out who the hell you are.
Yeah, and that where it's like
And
we're
they're
losing
driving
our,
around in their trucks that says FEMA on it.
and so it's like our freedom of
Can't
speech
make,
is
you
being
can't
destroyed.
make this stuff
Yeah,
up.
and I'm sick of it. It's time for us to speak up. Our freedom of speech is getting
Oh, let me tell you
destroyed.
something. How long have you been doing the show with me?
About a year or more,
A
year
year
and
and a year and
and a
4
month.
months.
Yeah, and I'm tired of our freedom of speech being,
Have
stopped. And that's why we're going to be doing our
I?
show
Oh
Tuesday.
yeah, I.
You know,
Yep,
and so that's what we're going to be doing, a
that's
freedom
another
of
group.
speech show. Hmm.
So we're going to do that. Amelia and I, we
Freedom of
love our
speech.
country,
Hmm.
but we hate our government. I've
Yeah,
said it a million times.
yeah.
I love my country.
And freedom of
Th-
speech, and we're going to be doing blunt talk that night.
Yep.
Hmm.
And the one thing, and I'm gonna just, if the government's listening, and I know they are, because
Hmm.
they got me tapped and wired for sound.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Here's the thing. If all you did for me was one thing, and you don't have to do it for anybody else in the
Right.
country, do it for me.
Hmm.
If you do this one thing for the U.S. government, I will love you the way I love my country. Simple. Tell the truth. America can handle the truth. Just don't lie. That's all I'm asking. The reason I hate the government is because they lie.
Yeah,
That's the only reason I hate the government, because they lie.
yeah, yeah.
Tell me
And
the truth and I'll love you. I will give you a big Italian kiss, a big sloppy wet kiss,
yeah.
and a big hug.
And
Okay?
who was in office wanting to do that for us? And they tried to destroy him. And they're still trying to destroy him.
My brother-in-law informs me that there are a couple of FEMA headquarters, a couple of detention centers in
Hmm.
Burlington Township.
Hmm.
You know what? I actually know about that, my friend. I'm not going to say his name over the air,
Hmm.
because in case he's at work and in case his work
Yeah,
people are
they
listening.
have a couple in
Just,
Texas, and they're gonna have. I think they have some here in
Texas,
Florida,
please.
and
Alex Jones has been on that shit big time.
and they have a few here in Florida too. So not too
Oh, I
far
know
from
where
us.
the ones in Florida are.
Hmm.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to do a show about free speech and
Yeah.
Those detention centers, Amelia, we got to do a whole different show.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That one we have to use a disclaimer.
Yes.
And we might actually be able
And I know
to
I
get
know who has a lot of information on that too. So.
good. And I know who it is too, and it's very
Mhm.
close to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. I know who that person is. And it's not your husband. The other thing that's very important, I want to say this, and I want to get it out. So bear with me. It's really important that people understand we're not here bashing the government. We're
No.
not.
Mm-mm.
This show is as patriotic as
Apple pie.
and not only just apple pie. We are patriotic to our core from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And lying, the government shouldn't lie.
No.
If you tell the truth, like I said,
Yeah.
tell me the truth and I'll embrace you and I'll
Yeah.
love you and I'll kiss you and I'll say, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
You okay, like a nice Italian papa. Okay?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you keep lying to me, I'm going to keep hating you.
Yeah.
That's
Just
simple.
tell me the truth. Is that person really that person? Is it? Are there really aliens here? Just tell me the damn truth for once. If I ask you a question,
Exactly.
just tell me the damn truth.
It doesn't take much.
Don't be fake news like Donald Trump said about
Yeah.
that one. Just tell me the
Well,
truth.
I'll tell you what, Neil. It's going to be interesting. Listen,
Mhm.
we got to go. It's that
Yes.
time.
Yes, it is.
So, listen for Amelia, the pit bull, the mouth of the South, Chapman. I am the mad dog. I'm still the mad dog. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm not a mad dog. I'm just an angry
Nah.
puppy. Somebody said that to me. They sent me an email. So I want to tell you. I want to tell you about before we go, because we got like 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Somebody sent me an email. Where did you get the name Mad Dog from? You're not a mad dog. You're an angry puppy. I'm like, really? What the fuck is that? I'm an angry puppy. Do I look like a puppy? No, I'm supposed to be a mad dog.
It's a
Let me-
mad dog world, people.
Yeah. The problem is I never look like a mad dog because I'm always laughing about shit. All right, listen, we got to get out of here. I'm Angelo DeCipio, the mad dog.
The mad
Or
dog.
the pit bull. Shut up. I got to get out of here. We'll be here all night saying goodnight.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Good night,
Hey.
Amelia.
You say that to me all the time, so I had to do something for you.
Go away. Good night, folks.
night,
Take
everyone.
care. Bye-bye.